So I recently did a video on Triple H's worst booking decisions for 2024 when it comes to the WWE. Now we're going to do the opposite and do Triple H's best decisions for 2024. With that being said, let's go. So let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble. To me, the Women's Royal Rumble for 2024 was phenomenal. It was awesome from top to bottom. From Naomi returning, from Jordynne Grace making her debut, from the debut of Jade to be in the Rumble. Like, everything about this Rumble, from Bayley winning, like, everything about the Women's Royal Rumble was awesome. It was perfect. How you built all the stars in the Rumble. Like, that's how you're supposed to do a Rumble, especially when it comes to, again, Jade debuting and Bayley winning. Just that's how you do that. Putting Jade with Bianca was the perfect decision. We all know Jade is not the best wrestler in the world, but to put her with Bianca, and Bianca is such a team player, such a dope person from the outside looking in. Looks like she's helped Jade all the way. And just putting them together, putting Naomi with them as well, having their moment at WrestleMania, putting the tag team titles on them, making Jade a big deal off rip. Just everything that Triple H has done with Jade thus far. And again, keeping Bianca also relevant as well. And splicing in Naomi in there from time to time. Like, I just love seeing that. That was dope to see. Like, they've done a great job of protecting Jade and making her a very big deal. Speaking of a big deal, let's talk about the feud of the year, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Now, I did not expect this to be the feud that we would get for Punk in 2024 in the WWE, but boy, has it been feeding generations, bro. And all this after a injury. Like, Punk got hurt in his very first match back. If this was any other time, Punk just would have stayed on the shelf and would have just stayed home until he returned. But no, Triple H said, we're going to continue to use Punk. We're going to continue to tell a story. We're going to use CM Punk to not only elevate Drew, but also elevate the story and elevate this feud to be feud of the year between, like, CM Punk, from Drew winning, all starting with Drew after Punk got hurt, was saying, I prayed for times like this. Like, so evil. Then going to WrestleMania, Drew winning the world title, then Punk costing Drew the title, then Drew completely beating Punk to an inch of his life, taking the bracelet, and then having their match at SummerSlam, having a strap match, and then having arguably the best match of the year, that Hell in a Cell. Like, oh my God. Just the elevation of Drew becoming one of the MVPs for WWE, and CM Punk actually having something to sink his teeth into. And again, not just keeping Punk on the shelf and giving him something to do, which, if you know, Punk did not enjoy being in AEW after he got injured, and basically not only could not get the proper care that he wanted to, but also was just lingering at home, and all the emotions that he had, and just the festering of all the bad thoughts just displayed once he got back and returned to AEW. That didn't happen here. Like, Punk was utilized properly, and again, the feud between Punk and Drew was so good. And they were able to make it last for damn near 9-10 months with only 3 matches, and one of the guys being injured halfway of it. Wow. Now, speaking of feuds, even though I feel like the feud has gone on way too long, I do love what they have done with Liv's Revenge Tour. Liv, who, going all the way back to 2022, we felt like she was underutilized. She wasn't used properly. She got a bad end of a deal getting injured, and never got a proper title reign. And now they used Rhea's popularity and mega stardom from going to a heel to a babyface to now turn that into Liv getting revenge for being taken out by Rhea and turning Liv heel and making her a very diabolical character to where she infiltrated Rhea's faction, took Rhea's title, and then eventually took her man. Like they really did a great job, at least leading up to Liv and Rhea and the turn by Dominic of making Liv feel important, making the feud and Rhea feel important, and just every week they would tell a story every single week, doing a little something here and there to where Liv helped Finn and JD win the tag team titles. Liv helped Dominic defeat his dad for the first time, like little things to where she eventually would be, to where little things to where when she became part of the Judgment Day, it made sense. It didn't come out of nowhere because she, week after week after week, was showing her worth. I think that was awesome. I think that was great how they executed on the Liv Revenge Tour. Keeping it on factions, the Bloodline 2.0, the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Solo turns on Jimmy, takes Paul Heyman's phone, and then we're off after that. The Tongans come in. Jacob Fatu, I love you. Solo comes in. Solo, who was seen as just this bland character and the bodyguard, right, of the Bloodline, now became the front-facing leader of the new Bloodline. It was able to eventually show his personality. I love what they did with Solo, and it basically the character development they did with Solo and the Bloodline made Roman a face without Roman even being on TV. That's how great of a story they told. That Solo was such a menace. Paul was crying every week, and it made Paul a sympathetic character, which I didn't know you could do, to where when Roman came back at SummerSlam, it was one of the biggest things of 2024. And it's all because of the work they did leading up to SummerSlam when Solo took on Cody for the title, because of the work they did with Solo being such a menace, bro. And people were like, I'm not like Roman all the way, but I like him way more than Solo. And now you have Roman coming back and becoming one of the biggest faces, which he hasn't even done anything but just return. It's been great, man. The Bloodline, I didn't know could continue after Roman lost the title, but they are continuing the story and doing it the right way. So let's keep it on Roman. Roman staying Roman. I love the fact that they didn't have Roman come back and all of a sudden be this super baby face, smiling and hugging kids and kissing babies. Like, Roman is still Roman. He hasn't apologized. Roman hasn't done anything to really deserve the crowd's admiration. But because people respect Roman for his incredible title reign of 4 years, and because they've done such a great job of making the Bloodline 2.0 be just something that you can't even root for, that Roman became a babyface. And now Roman is one of the biggest baby faces in the company, and again, he hasn't done anything. I just think that's genius. Talk about the Bloodline. Let's talk about Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, who throughout most of the year has kind of been lost in the sauce, hasn't really been given much. He feuded with Logan Paul. He was feuding over the U.S. title, even tagged with Randy Orton to combat the Bloodline. But then was Kevin Owens turned on Cody? Was Kevin Owens turned on Randy Orton? And doing it in a way to where it wasn't even on screen, or it was barely even picked up. It was all through like security footage and just making it so different from everything we've seen in terms of a WWE storyline. I just think it's beautiful what they've done with Kevin, because he's righteous in his feeling of feeling betrayed with Cody teaming up with Roman after everything Roman and the Bloodline has done. Kevin is completely in the right, yet still has the fans angry and mad at him because of what he's done to Cody and Randy. I just love what they're doing with Kevin Owens, and him taking the Winged Eagle title at Saturday Night's main event, even getting in the face of Triple H. Like, they are making Kevin Owens a main event big deal. I don't know if he's going to win the title in 2025. I hope he does. But they're making him a very big deal, and I am all for it. Speaking of a big deal, keeping it on the Bloodline, Jey Uso winning the IC title, even though it was only for 3 weeks. What bothered me about Jey Uso is you're calling him main event Jey Uso, but yet he will lose every week. Outside of beating his brother at WrestleMania, he wasn't really winning any feuds or winning any big-time matches. He would go up and challenge for every title and lose, but him beating Braun Breaker it solidified the fact that Jey Uso is big time. He is over. He is the real deal. I just love that moment for Jey Uso, going all the way back to 4 years ago when they started his singles push, and I was hopeful, but I doubted that Jey Uso could really be a big single star. And I'm glad that I was proven wrong. And again, even though the WrestleMania match between him and Jimmy didn't live up to expectations, they never wavered, they never gave up on him, and they allowed him to continue to be himself and eventually go on to win the IC title and make a memorable moment for 2024. Speaking of memorable moments, let's talk about the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six is something that had a lot of expectations, that it had a lot of baggage to it because of the legacy of Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul. And at least throughout the first few months of Wyatt Six, the tedious details of everything they did with Bo Dallas, like everything they've done with Bo Dallas in the Wyatt Six and the members, in the videotapes, and the lighting, the debut of them, where they killed everybody backstage. It just that was a moment. Their debut, his eventual in-ring debut, the faction members' tapes, and them explaining their characters to an extent. Even though they've kind of fallen off going into 2025, I still feel like they are taking their time and only going to do important things when it comes to Uncle Howdy and the character and Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas's performance, if anything else isn't that great, Bo Dallas's portrayal of Uncle Howdy has been, oh my God, it has been headed above anything we could have thought. I mean, to basically encompass his brother and emulate his brother to where it literally felt like you were watching Bray Wyatt reincarnated. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar, reincarnated! Like, oh my God, what a sight to behold, and to pay homage and respect to Bray Wyatt and make the Wyatt Six something that is unforgettable. I gotta give Triple H props for that for sure. Speaking of the Wyatt Six and Uncle Howdy, let's talk about the faction they have been feuding with, Final Testament. Now, I'm not gonna lie, at the start of the year, even going into WrestleMania, I'm like, why are we having to deal with the Final Testament? They are not over, nobody cares, they're just a blah entity. But Triple H, give him credit, has stuck to his guns, has week after week after week tried to find ways to keep Karrion Kross and the Final Testament interesting. And by the end of 2024, the Final Testament is over. The Final Testament is credible and valuable. And the fact that everyone that crosses Karrion Kross, everything that he says eventually comes to fruition, which we'll get to in a second. Like, they are really making Karrion Kross like an important factor in everyone's character development throughout throughout the WWE, and it's dope to see, to use a character to help develop other characters. I think that's I really loved how they done that. Now, even though I don't agree with them defeating the Wyatt Six, I think it's too early for the Wyatt Six to be defeated. I wasn't that mad because Karrion Kross is doing such a phenomenal job on the mic in terms of his promos, even in his in-ring, his internet activity, social media activity. Like, this is the Karrion Kross I wish we could have got from the beginning, because this character and this personality is money, man. It's straight up money, and I'm enjoying it. Let's talk about probably the moment of the year. New Day turns. 10-year anniversary. New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, after being together for 10 years, have their 10-year anniversary reunion. And they've been leading up to eventually teasing the breakup of New Day. And it appeared that was what was going to happen, only for Big E to come out to try to reunite the New Day and make the family whole. And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston turn on Big E without laying a hand on him. Do it all verbally. The Kofi Kingston "so what" is going to live in the eons of WWE lore forever. The "so what" by Kofi Kingston, because we didn't know who was going to turn heel, but we predicted somebody's got to turn heel. What they've been doing with Xavier, his character development, with him just being fed up, with being looked over, being told that he's not good enough, and feeling like he's not good enough, and Kofi undermining Xavier throughout the year with him trying to bring in Odyssey Jones and making decisions without Xavier's input. Just all this leading up to this moment where Kofi and Xavier, who were going to break up, united, which is what we wanted, but united against Big E and turn on Big E, making New Day the biggest heel faction in the WWE. I never thought I'd see the day to where Kofi's mama even wasn't rocking with Kofi. That's how much of a heel New Day is. And they haven't even wrestled yet. They've just been doing promos and vignettes, and they are absolutely hated because of the love we have, not only for Big E, but the love we have for what New Day has been for the past decade. I can't wait to see what they do for 2025. New Day, what a new way. Now, this one I'm kind of going to jumble all together. I think the King and Queen of the Ring winners and the Money Bank winners, I all agree with. I agree with Nia Jax getting her moment, winning the King. So let's go to the King and the Queen. So let's go to making the King and Queen of the Ring matter again. Oh my God. Miss the days of the King of the Ring actually mattering, and also making the Queen of the Ring matter to where the winners, which were Nia and Gunther, will wind up having a title match at SummerSlam. Not only that, but both of them won. Chef's kiss. They finally made the King of the Ring matter again, which in turn made the title matter. And even though I haven't fully liked what they've done with Gunther's title reign or Nia's title reign, at least they gave the title to two people who I believe absolutely deserve it. Nia has worked her butt off to get to this point and improved so much since she's come back to the WWE. Gunther, who is one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, there's no doubt that he deserved to be a world champion, and they pulled the trigger. They didn't make us wait a year. They pulled it as soon as he lost the IC title. They eventually moved him up to the main event and to the world title. I love they did that for both Nia and Gunther. And last but not least, WrestleMania 40, the pivot of all pivots. I don't care why it happened, how it happened. I do not give a damn. But they did the greatest pivot in the history of wrestling when Initially, it was going to be The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania for the title. And they listened to the fans, and The Rock turned heel, became the final boss, and they actually gave us the match that we wanted, Cody versus Roman, with The Rock sprinkled in, Seth Rollins being sprinkled in, making this one of the most memorable feuds going into WrestleMania of all time, with all of it ending with Cody finally finishing the story. Finally finished the story with the Avengers Endgame they had at night 2 of WrestleMania. Like, in my opinion, arguably the greatest moment in WrestleMania history. We can have that debate for another time, but bruh, that final 10 minutes, that final 5-10 minutes of Cody versus Roman, with Solo coming in, Jade coming in, John Cena coming in, The Rock coming in, Taker coming in. We thinking Dean Ambrose is going to eventually come in. That all culminating to the final moment of Roman having a decision of either hitting Seth or Cody with a chair. And because of Roman's trauma, which is basically what created the tribal chief head of the table, acknowledge me character of Roman Reigns, when Seth Rollins turned on Roman with the Shield, Roman did not forget and sacrificed his title reign to attack Seth, only for Cody to take advantage of that and finally win the title. Michael Cole's call of finish, the story with the 3 count, Samantha Irvine crying when she announced that Cody Rhodes was the new world champion. Like, bro, I don't think anything is going to touch that for a very long time. What a decision and ultimate pivot that Triple H made in 2024. And that, my friends, is the best decisions made by Triple H in the WWE for 2024. Hopefully, we can continue the momentum that we've had for this year and go into next year even better than ever with the Netflix deal, with everyone being on point and trying to up themselves from what they've done over the previous year. I'm looking forward to 2025 in WWE. I feel like it's going to even be something that we don't even expect, and it's just going to really Triple H, I think, is going to get a lot better. I truly feel that way. But we're going to see. Let me know what you feel like the best decisions and let me know what you feel the best decisions were about Triple H of 2024. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the things. Welcome to the High Beach. That's Hayes Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.